Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. How wonderful to see your faces. Many of you are joining bright and early in my part of the world. And wherever you are in America, we are celebrating Thanksgiving. It is not a festival native to me, but I appreciate the spirit of this festival and the gratitude. And your messages are coming in. Blessings and thank you. We express our gratitude to the great Rishi Parampara, to the teachers of the Vedic wisdom, who gave this wisdom for all. Any being who is suffering, struggling inside samsara. Handfuls of this knowledge change our life, and steady learning transforms the trajectory of our soul from bondage to freedom, from compulsive suffering to detached liberation, and options at the time of death. Jema. We are continuing with our study. Let me just change this view here. We are continuing with verse 24, after verse 23, in which we are asked to look at the entire world like a swapna, a dream, the dream that we dream during waking hours. And because there is one self, really one self that we all share, that self decides to dream one collective dream through all the minds. And that is why we have a common world that we dream up. Whereas when we are horizontal on our bed or wherever we are sleeping and dreaming, our minds get to have private dream worlds. And when we open our eyes, we get to share a common dream. This is all a dream of the self. We want our self to be not dreaming, but to be fully awake. This is the awakening of the self to the dimension of the higher self. And for that, we look at verse 24, in which we are told how to operate in this dream world. We are continuing further. These are now solutions in Bhaja Govindam. And the teaching is very clear. Most of us, when we are in the waking dream, we take it so for real. And because it is of a continuous nature, we keep coming back to the same dream when our eyes open. We think, well, this is more real, even though we had forgotten this dream when we were dreaming the other dreams. But we think this dream, oh my goodness, this is the real deal. And we get all caught up in it. We get all impatient in it. And even if we meet a teacher who tells us about awakening, true awakening to Paramarthika Satyam, the ultimate reality, the true awakening to our spirit nature, the true awakening to our union with Ishvara, the true awakening to the fact that we were never this body and this personality all along. We get impatient. We get impatient, and what do? We start memorizing Sanskrit verses. Maybe this will help us. So this is not damning the Sanskrit verses. Those verses are pujaniya, very honorable to us. What we are looking at, the irony, is the desperate drive of an aged Brahmin memorizing Sanskrit grammar instead of becoming silent in the indwelling Govinda. So in this interesting verse, we hear these words from Shankaracharya's disciple, Surendra. Tvai mai chanya treko Vishnu. Tvai mai chanya treko Vishnu. Vyartham kopyasi maya sahishnu. Vyartham kopyasi maya sahishnu. Bhava samachittaha sarvatra tvam vanchasya chirat yadi vishnu tvam bhava samachittaha sarvatra tvam vanchasya chirat yadi vishnu tvam. In the Vedic study circle, we have studied the Nirvana Shatakam, in which we found the definition of Shiva and the deeper look at Shiva, not as an anthropomorphic, humanized God that popular versions of the Hindu religion have converted Shiva into. But Shiva is another name for Vishnu, for Ishvara, because Shiva is Ishvara. Shiva is the operational principle of Ishvara. When we understand deity in the Vedic tradition, deity is not a god apart from that formless, boundless divine consciousness. It is just that when that divine consciousness is bringing about dissolution, detachment, disintegration for new integration, then this divine consciousness, which is absolute intelligence, is known as Shiva. Similarly, another name for Ishvara is Vishnu. Vishnu is not a godly person lying on the ocean atop a bed, which is like a curled up snake. But that is symbolic understanding of Ishvara, reposed, relaxed. And the snake represents infinity, because this snake, Adi Shesha, has no beginning and no end. It just coils forever. And that represents, if you've taken, there have been attempts to take images of galaxies. So apparently this infinity image is very central to quantum understanding of the universe, and somehow the Vedic sages got it. And so they imagined that if Vishnu is relaxing, because if Vishnu is the sustainer of the universe, that's the principle of Ishvara, not the dissolver, but the sustainer, the preserver, then is he running around with his head cut off, just trying to manage the universe? No, he's super relaxed. So Vishnu is another name for Ishvara now. And in this verse, we hear that in me, the speaker, in you, the listener, and in everything, which includes every particle of this universe, none but the same Vishnu dwells. So what are we understanding? That in me, in you, and in everything, nothing but the same Ishvara is present. And so this is what it means. Tvai mai chanya traiko Vishnu. But then the next line is Vyartham. It is useless. Kupyasi maya sahishnu. You are becoming impatient to reach a goal of self-realization. I have actually have had some students afflicted by ignorance, avidya, maya, not their fault. This is the human nature. They would, poor things, come up to me and say, Shunyaji, I have to do something more besides studying Shastra. I have to, I have to get there, as if it's a physical journey. Now, people get impatient to arrive somewhere. Okay, so might as well just perfect up my grammar here. Or, some kind of spiritual restlessness. And so look at how conversational this verse is. It's kind of addressing our mass impatience to get somewhere in spirituality. Verses. So it says your anger and your impatience is meaningless. It is meaningless. Then we get a solution here. Right now, here and now, in this moment, you can connect with your inner Vishnu. You can become Vishnu. How? So the line says, Bhava means that ocean, which is just the tumultuous ocean of samsara, where you are suffering and raging and questioning and uncertain and anxious. And so it says, if you wish to attain the status of Vishnu, if you also want to repose with extreme relaxation in yoga nidra, the sleep of yoga, which is the ultimate sleep of restfulness and alertness and mindfulness, and then you can attain the status of Vishnu. How? By Samachitta. Sama means balance, chitta means mind. So by cultivating equanimity, mental equanimity. So the way to be Vishnu, way to be Ishvara, if you want to be a copycat of God, in this context, Vishnu, then go ahead and start developing an equanimity in your state of mind. How do you do that? Is my teaching today. So, when we look at the world of name and form, everything has a form and a name. And that's how one Ishvara, one divine consciousness gets variegated into so many forms and names. Nama means name and Rupa means form. But when you remove the Nama Rupa, what do you get? What you get is Satchitananda. What you get is divine consciousness bliss, which is Ishvara. So just like you enter a jewelry shop, which is made of gold ornaments, and you see what bangles, necklaces, bracelets, rings, earrings, bells, all these things are made of gold. But if you develop a view of equanimity or equality, to develop equanimity, you will develop a view of equality. What you should perceive there is not so many things but gold. One, it unifies everything. One. Similarly, if you go to a furniture shop, you will see table, chair, stool, desk. chest of drawers. But the if you want to be equanimous, you want to see only what? Wood. Similarly, you can see pond, glacier, ocean, river, waterfall, puddle, rain. But what you want to see is water. Similarly, when you are in this world and you see so many different people, so many different creatures, what should you see? Vishnu, Ishvara. If you continue to see differences, if you insist upon noticing the differences, I am black, so and so is white, they are brown, this is yellow person, that is short, this is tall, we live on this side of the neighborhood, they live on that side of the neighborhood, we are the early Jews, they are the later Jews, we are the early Hindus, they are the later Hindus. We go on doing this. What happens? Kama, Krodha, anger, moha, delusions, raga, attachments, devasha, dvesha, aversions, all these things, superiority, inferiority, all these thoughts start clouding our chitta. So what you want is to focus on Advaitam. Advaitam is non-duality. And how do you do that? You do that by seeing the non-different, the one Atma, the one Vishnu, the one Shiva, the one Ishvara, the one Govinda, the one Jesus, the one Allah, in all. Forget about terminology. Sanskrit is a tool. Sanskrit is a tool. Upanishads are a tool. Guru is a tool. Your response brings you in direct equanimity with the inner God. You are not far. It is these turbulent waves of the mind due to seeing differences and then behaving differently and classifying differently that we get caught up in differences and attachments. But what you want is to understand this all-pervading divinity. And many of you have already begun doing that. And this verse comes along to strengthen this attitude. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 67, Ishvara reassures us that I dwell in every heart. Ishvaraha sarvabhutanam. Hidesho Arjuna tishtati. Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudani mayaya. The Supreme Ishvara, Govinda, dwells in the heart of every living creature, O Arjuna. And these, according to the karmas, the indwelling Ishvara directs the wanderings of the same Atma through these different body machines. So it's very interesting that thousands of years before Descartes, I think that's how it's pronounced, this was called a yantra, a machine. The body was called a machine. And so we're having different experiences or different body types. But it is the same self in all. So, and then in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, again, this oneness, this one divinity is identified. And I will chant to you from this Upanishad. And it says right here, Eko devaha sarvabhuteshu gudaha sarvavyapi sarvabhutantaratma कर्माध्यक्षः sarvabhutadhivasah sakshi-cheta kevalo nirgunascha. What is this Upanishad saying 8,000 years ago? It is the one divinity, hidden in all beings, pervading all, the innermost self of all beings, presiding over their actions, and is the home of all things. Where do we go back to after that? Back to that one self, the mighty witness. So, what is that awareness that is coming from my mind and up Sadhvi Aparna's mind, and Arjuna is sitting here, his mind? What is that one awareness? Same awareness is looking through these machines. Same awareness. We are one. It is the same awareness. That is why when we remove our barriers, we feel another's pain and we feel another's joy completely. That is why when we fall in love, even if temporarily, there is a sense of elation, because at last, two pieces which were originally one become one, even if temporarily. That is why love is a relief, because for some time we can suspend our differences. But the Vedic spirituality says suspend your differences forever, because you were never separate. It is as if a part of you is spread out in everything and all beings. This is the beauty of understanding Ishvara. The definition of Vishnu is very interesting, and I wanted to share that with you. The definition of the word Vishnu means Yad Vishito Bhavati Tad Vishnur Bhavati. And this is a very fascinating definition. This definition says that whatever is predestined by the cosmic order is Vishnu. What does this mean? So, what this means is that the events that are unfolding, the circumstances, good, bad, ugly, lovely, whatever is unfolding, are guided and ordained by the divine will of Vishnu. I am teaching to you, this has been ordained by that great self as Vishnu. Because why? Because Vishnu is the sustainer. Vishnu is the preserver. So as per that preserver's desire, you are now undergoing this study. If it is not in that will, much as you want to attend this session, you will not be able to. Your heart will stop beating. Somebody else's heart will stop beating in your life, and you will not be able to attend this session. So whatever is transpiring in the now is happening due to the will of Vishnu, that higher orders, because Vishnu, Ishvara, that will represents cosmic order. It represents divine will. It represents the unity of existence, that it is ordained in that unity that this be occurring to this earthworm, this be occurring to this butterfly, this be occurring to this person. So this is the interconnected will in which we are operating. Perhaps I can tell you as a side note, it's not part of this verse, that embracing what is happening in the now as your divine ordination is a good idea, because your spiritual preservation is contained within it. Hence, if really hard time comes to you, say you are traveling somewhere, your tire bursts, you don't have water in the car, and you are alone on the freeway, and you're standing on the freeway, accept it. It is all part of the preservation. So whatever is happening is part of that cosmic principle. So what do? We we generally do not recognize it, and we generally divide up our mental experiences into preferred and non-preferred, wanted and unwanted, liked and disliked. We have so many biases, so many prejudices, so many expectations, so many frustrations that we cannot be equanimous like Vishnu. We cannot have a samatvam bhava or an equanimity within our mind. But by understanding that Vishnu, another name is Narayana, exists everywhere, then we seekers are guided towards a holistic understanding, towards a spiritual awakening. Then what will we experience except gratitude? Gratitude. And we become instantly like Vishnu. So this is a very simple verse, but at the same time, it it leads us to look at that Vishnu element within us, and this is so different from the practice of the Hindu tradition, where you go to a temple, there will be a Vishnu deity, and chanting will be going on, which may or may not be understood by people. It feels very sacred. But then when you walk out of the temple and you walk into the non-sacred on the street, on the roadside, and somebody picks your wallet, then you become completely restless. But if you are cultivating the knowledge of Vishnu, then what happens? Somebody picks your wallet, you run after them, you couldn't find them, and then you don't become passive, but then at the end of the day you think, you know what, maybe I owed this person whatever money was in my wallet, or maybe I owed something to the universe, and a balance has been struck, and I minus that kind of money. So be it. Someone has taken my wallet, not my capacity to earn. So, okay. If somebody has taken your capacity to earn, then no one has taken my capacity to be taken care of by the universe. And somehow, the food that has to reach you, the, sh- the shelter that has to reach you, the hugs that have to reach you, they will find their way to you. So, by having this knowledge, one doesn't become bitter, one doesn't become cursed, one doesn't feel negative, one doesn't feel slighted, one doesn't feel traumatized for the rest of their life. I went to India, I went to the temple, I stood in front of Vishnu, and then this happened, and Vishnu didn't protect me. So then we are even anti-Vishnu for a while. And you can replace Vishnu with any version of God that you're familiar with. You become upset with God. But we are self-aware human beings, and Vedanta is for us, and it says, be like Vishnu. And Vishnu is the manager, the preserver, the sustainer of the whole universe. And I came across some statistics, which is mind-boggling, that by human beings, and we have completely errors here in our calculation, but the calculation of our known universe, and we say there are unknown universes, is if you're traveling by light, then from end to end, one universe in our dream world is 3.2 billion years, one universe. By light, 3.2 billion years travel speed of light. And what have we mapped? We've gone up to the moon, 1.2 seconds of light travel. And then there are multiple universes, creations of Maya, managed by that ultimate power. How omniscient that power is. You really think it is stupid enough to forget you and force you into suffering? Or perhaps there is a purpose to the suffering. And so while suffering hurts, and even I prefer not to suffer, yet can we have equanimity even amid suffering is the question. And that is why in my book, Sovereign Self, I gave the example of Baba when he lost his younger son, his youthful son, to death, and how he shed tears and yet he was calm. It's like you're human and you're Vishnu at the same time. And that is where we want to move. And that is why in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 6, in verse 29, we have this beautiful call of who is a true yogi. Sarvabhutastamatmanam sarvabhutani jatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra. Hear this word, samadarshana, again sama. Darshana means same perception. The true yogis uniting their awareness with Ishvara, what do? They perceive or they see with equal eyes all living beings, and they see all living beings in Ishvara. This is an important verse, write it down. And then they see Ishvara in all living beings. Chapter 6, verse 29. What a verse. What a verse. So, my children, transform your perception. See everywhere that one. Call it by any name. If you ask me, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, these are technical Sanskrit words to represent the unfathomable omniscience and intelligence of that one. Just like there is fire is situated in wood. Even in the trees, inside trees, there's fire. That's why when there's forest fire, it erupts. In the same way that divine fire is dwelling inside each one of us. So when this verse says, do not be unnecessarily impatient, but be even-minded. Reach Vishnu instantly, then what are we being told? That can we be even-minded when a lot of pleasure is coming towards you? Choose sama bhava. Bhava means emotion. Sama means even-mindedness, equanimity. Or sama chitta. Chitta means mind. Or sama darshana. Darshana means to see. Sama is the important word. That is why those who have studied Ayurveda with me, you may remember this verse, Samadosha, Samagni, right? Samadhatu. We like this word sama, even. We also like our digestive fire to be sama agni. Amongst friends known as bandhu, sama bandhu. We want to good. So between pleasure and pain, try to have samachitta, even-mindedness. Success is enjoyed by everyone. I will agree. I also enjoy success in any endeavor. Whether I'm cooking something, I like success. If I am planting a rose bush, I enjoy success when buds come out, flowers come out. Sure. But can you be even-minded in failure too? Some rose bushes do not thrive. Some dishes, despite your best intentions, fail. Some endeavors fail. Some relationships fail. Then remember the Vishnu principle that Vishnu dwells in everything and all beings and is the destiny, is the order, is what is occurring. That is Vishnu, right? Definition of Vishnu as what is predestined that is happening. Accepting the divine order and its dispensation of what appears like injustice to your ego will allow you to become samachitta, samabhava, emotionally sama, between honor and dishonor. I mean, Jesus was, to our eyes, Ishvara. He was dishonored at times on earth, wasn't he? Krishna was dishonored by those who could not see Krishna. Many a teachers have been dishonored by students who cannot see them. This is the fact of earth, that ignorance and enlightenment can co-dwell here. Cannot take it personally. Similarly, favorable and unfavorable situations may arise in destiny, but Vishnu's definition is what is predestined is Vishnu. What is happening is Vishnu. And if you can see what is happening as Ishvara, then you become soft in it. You become okay in it. And then what do? You become steadfast in the performance of your duty. While you have samatvam, what is your duty? I'm a mother, I have to feed my children, I will do that. I'm a teacher, I have to show up and I have to teach Bhaja Govindam with the best of my capacity. I will do that. You do not know whether my life situation currently is favorable or unfavorable, honorable or dishonorable events are occurring. But we can, when we reach our own equanimity, we go back and do the duty. What is duty again? Duty is not what your ego wants to do, but duty is what seems to be imposed upon you. Duty is what the entire universe is asking you to do. For example, you may want to do something else, but your parent or your partner or your child or your friend may be sick and you need to sit in the hospital with them. And that's your duty now. So, becoming steadfast in the performance of your duty, abandoning attachment to success and failure, this equanimity, samatvam yoguchat. Again, that word sama. Samatvam yoguchat. In fact, one of the definitions of yoga is samatvam bhava, to be in equanimity. And I have a whole chapter, I believe chapter 22 on this. Of course, we teach it from different angles. So go into that unity state of Vishnu, and just like you would not use your one hand to hurt another hand, right? All your limbs are important to you. Every finger is important to you. Every part of your body is important to you. In the same way, those who understand the spread of Vishnu, Ishvara, Govinda, in all beings, they stop intentionally hurting anyone else. That's why ahimsa, etc., become natural to yogis. They become the well-wishers of all creatures, not just all humans, but all creatures. So I will like to now conclude by saying that this is some additional teaching that there are stages in our spiritual progress. In the lower stage, we tend to have a connection with some version of God as per our culture, faith, or understanding. And we have some, like, let's light the lamp, let's light a candle, let's bow in front of the book or the symbol, whatever is we do that, right? Um, this is one stage. In the second stage, we become cognizant of something more beyond the symbol, some relationship um, with that version of God, Ishvara, divine, and how does it change our relationship with others? Like we start having some emotional connection. Beyond physical bowing, we start emotionally acknowledging our presence. And in the third stage, we may or may not go to the temple, church, altar. We may or may not. But we start seeing this same God in all creatures and all beings, you know. And at that time, suggestions are recommended to us. We see it across the board. There are teachings like this in Ayurveda also. That if people are not treating you that well, they are envious of you, they are attacking you, then you bear them, you tolerate them, titiksha, you bear them out. You don't turn poisonous and monstrous, and you don't become completely pocked by them. Bear them out, thinking that they are ignorant. They don't know. And as for the people who you know are genuinely ignorant, not evil, you show them karuna, mercy, compassion, karuna, compassion, daya, kindness. As for those who are treating you fairly and are your equal and are your friends, like in the Kula, who are like-minded, you can have maitri or friendship towards them. So by doing this, by just putting up with titiksha, forbearance with the difficult people, compassion for the ignorant people, and friendship towards like-minded people, and gratefulness towards those who are showing you the way, gratitude, and today's Thanksgiving. This sense of you move towards equilibrium, samatvam, equanimity. You move towards it. So it is for you to not let your mind get curdled and imagine Ishvara in this colossal galaxy lying on the loop of infinity, sleeping, relaxing. Why? Because of this samatvam that is represented by Vishnu. And whatever is occurring, that is occurring to you, transpiring to you, if you like it, like some of you are appreciating studying Bhaja Govindam, try not to get over elated about it either. Okay. So is destined by Vishnu. And if one day, right in that moment when you're about to log on and your internet fails, okay, so be it. So be it. So be it. Come back, come back, come back, come back. Be disturbed, come back. Be a little disturbed, come back. Be a little more disturbed, come back. And come back and be in this Vishnu place of Samatvam. And you shall be able to then if we connect back to the previous verse, not get all crazy like a chicken with a head cut off, running around in samsara, trying to fix things and fume over things that are not fixing and become stressed and then meditate 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes in the evening. You don't have to do all this. You can accept and come back to a place of samabhava. And that way you come into ease. All right. So we conclude the satsang today. How are you feeling? Do you want to wave your hands and show me if you like this Vishnu place to go back to? That's beautiful. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. And remembering the definition of Vishnu, of divine order, or what is transpiring, just try it. Sometimes when people make you indignant and upset you and violate you, and you feel so righteously called to be angry, but that's the setup. That's where you're being pulled away back into shadow fighting, the phantoms. That's where you're being taken away. Yes, I authored Roar like a Goddess, and I stand by it. Yes, you can set a boundary, but a boundary from out of control mind and a boundary from samatvam is very different. This first, this equanimity, this equality first. And dare to see Ishvara dwelling in the person who hurts you, attacks you. It's very easy to see Ishvara in your guru. Very easy. Number one, that is why everybody's favorite person is their guru, not another person's guru, but their guru. So easy. So easy to see Ishvara in the deity that is ornamented and adorned in the temple with milk being poured on it and honey being poured on it. That is Ishvara. But what if you saw Ishvara in cancer cells? What if you saw Ishvara in tuberculosis? What if you saw Ishvara and you saw this whole and you realize that are not alone? Everyone is seeing it, and it's a dream, and it's a macabre dream. And the only way you can really start waking from it is to first come into equanimity. This is the invitation. So instead of becoming impatient and restless, let us try and connect to that Vishnu spot within each one of us. So we have a few minutes. If anybody would like to share anything, you're welcome. Otherwise, we will conclude and you all go back to your own whirlpools of samsara, more equanimous this time.
We have one share in the chat from Jayanti saying, "What an inspiring satsang, feeling supported by Lord Vishnu."
Beautiful. And let us do ourselves a favor. Vedic epistemology is a bit complex. There is Ishvara, then there is Bhagwan, then there is Brahman, then there is Shiva, then there is Vishnu, then there is Brahma, then there is Durga, then there is Lakshmi, then there is Saraswati, then there is Chinnamasta, then there is Baglamukhi, then there is Kali, there is Radha, there is Sita. Don't get caught up in any of that. There is only one truth, nameless and formless, and just remember that. So you can enjoy these forms just like there is one sun, but it's millions of rays come out, but let them all coalesce back into Ishvara. Beautiful. And keep remembering Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva as operational principles. We will not judge those who only worship them like some faraway deity behind a cloud. That's okay. Any connection with God is good connection. In some lifetime, they will find the knowledge. But our path of knowledge is through bhakti and jnanam together. Bhakti alone is blind. Would you agree? Yes. And jnanam without bhakti is dry. It can lead to the ego thinking I'm self-realized. That is why the merging of both paths is what Shankara, our ancestor teacher, lived. Baba Bade Baba lived, I live, and you can now live with pride. With the universal heart, without bottling up God in Sanskrit or names, Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, keeping it benefiting from traditions and yet free, we find our inner Ishvara. And what is that inner Ishvara doing? Sleeping on coiled up infinity. Easy peasy. Take it easy, Jema. Blessings on Thanksgiving again. Take care, each one of you.